Hi, my name is Rob Fedden and I am the founder of Tinga. At Tinga, we believe food should be intelligent and purposeful. People can eat with the best of intentions, the healthiest meal, yet still feel off. Tired, bloated, brain fog, and that is because the way we choose our food is outdated and Tinga addresses that. We turn people's goals of sleep, energy, and clarity into meals that just work. No guesswork, no tracking. We just happen to use smart logic, AI, and real-time personalization to do it. So it's about eating with a purpose and feeling the difference. So in its simplest form, Tinga's a meal planner, but it's much more than that. If you could combine a chef and a dietitian expert in one using real-time data, and then we use ingredient stacking and food mixology to amplify the effects of the individual ingredients based on their functional outcome. And that's what we present back to the user. That way it's always about cause and effect, right? They choose the meals based on the outcome that they're looking for in terms of sleep, energy, clarity, etc. So we support women 35 plus because their bodies are constantly going through stages of change. And by creating an ecosystem of functional forward first, we were able to support those objectives as they move and cycle through them time and time again. So the big question, why are we selling Tinga if it's so great? I'll be totally honest, we set goals for the end of August, and if I said we don't achieve those, then we're gonna pack it in. It's time. We've given it a very good go. We've built an exceptional platform, but we just were not able to get the distribution that we needed in order to make sense to move to the next step. Our platform is very good. It's very well thought out. We've had a lot of professional input, and our team is very well educated and positioned to build a product of this magnitude. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, we just were not able to get where we needed to get to, but that does not reflect on the amazing product that we have built. It's turnkey and it's positioned for somebody else to take it over and take it to the next level. We are now on the landing page of the recipe generator. In this screen, users are able to access more filters in the top right corner where it says more filters. They can choose between their diet type. And allergens and restrictions, we have all the primaries in here, as you can see. And dislikes, if there's any dislikes in the household, like grocery stores, they're set to default. It's set to everybody on, but you can always unselect them. So we'll just apply that. They've got the option to choose between a multitude of cuisines. They can select up to 3 at one time. And protein amount, and we give them an option to stay flexible. But if they were specific and they wanted a low range, recommended range, or high range, you've got 20, 30, 30, 40, 40 plus. Again, these were all preset levels based on our registered dietitian's recommendations. And then if they have any ingredients on hand, then it'll always look to use that ingredient. So, for example, boneless chicken breast, it'll look to use that in the recipe. The more that the user adds in, then the less Tinga does in terms of create and round out that perfectly balanced meal, because it'll try to work with what you do have on hand. And you can set the number of servings, and then you hit generate. Okay, we're back. So you could decouple the live data component within the app. So meaning pulling the ingredients from the actual grocery store. This would speed up the generation time significantly. And then you go to just generic items. In the background, there's about 300 items, whole food items, that are used to create the recipes by cuisine type. And the menu changes by season. So it's always bringing the most prominent seasonally focused ingredients forward. Here, they're always generating 3 at a time. That was the optimal for speed. But if we jump into one of the recipes, you can see Caribbean jerk chicken, and when you scroll across, it'll show you in the macros here, for example, like what's contributing to sodium, what's contributing to your carbs. It always reminds you, if you like the recipe, to save it in the upper right corner, or you can just automatically add it to the meal plan by checking on the plus sign. And you can scroll across to see protein as well. It's cognitive clarity focused, and it is also a gluten-free meal. And if you open up the nutritionals, it'll show you what the nutritionals are here that line up with the macros above. And then it brings, again, the ingredients based on the store list. So this one's going to be across the multitude of stores we have in the background. If you said, you know what, I already have olive oil on hand, and I already have salt and pepper, then you hit update plan, it'll automatically pull those out of the plan. And then it says that you have 7 ingredients that you need to add to your master list. And then you can go back in and without even having to go into recipes, But again, we'll go in just so you can see further down. Now it's saying this one contains gluten because any ingredient from Great Value, any spice from Great Value brand, which is the Walmart brand, they produce in a facility that has cross-contaminations to majority of allergens, so they always claim it. And if you scroll down, you see what utensils you may need to make the meal, and then obviously the meal itself. So the prep ingredients and then instructions. And again, if I back out of this, I can easily add it to the plan just by clicking on the plus sign. And when you continue to plan, you'll see 2 meals there. It's now saying you need 17 ingredients, and then you quickly check on that, and it creates a list. It also prompts the user to leave a review in the App Store in both Google and iOS. And then you can scroll across to see what ingredients from what store. Now again, if the user, usually shoppers shop at 2 stores, they can just quickly toggle to see what they need at Sobeys, what do they need at No Frills, and they can see their overall list. And it's got that basic functionality where you can just check them off as such, and then when you're done buying those, you can hit complete my list, and it puts it into the history. And if they want to see other features in the home screen, they can go to the home screen here, where they can see a number of videos about how different features work in the app. There's tips for you, which are specific to their dietary type, and then healthier planning. So here's an example, like common myths about dieting. So we've put really generic but fact-based data and education into the app. There's a rewards program that's also connected up with a partnership, and then should they need extra support, they can contact a dietitian easily. If they want to access or they want to see what type of access they have to a subscription, they can type on the top of the screen, and they can also click on their name, which will take them to their profile. That is the end of the demo now. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll go on with the presentation. Thank you. While we intentionally stayed lean and did not invest in consumer acquisition, we did invest heavily in the underlying technology, IP, and data model, which are robust and easy to integrate into an existing platform. So we currently generate approximately $20 a month in recurring revenue. So we have approximately 5 or less active monthly users now. However, we did have over 300 signups. Our bottleneck was because of our onboarding. It was just too long, and actually in our last update, we fixed that. So by the second screen, people get the full experience of what we're offering. This is essentially a tech asset and not a scaled consumer product yet. This makes Tinga a clean, low-risk acquisition of a powerful tech stack and IP. With the right platform and user base, it's ready to scale immediately. We'd obviously commit to an S&OP transition from start to finish, but it's always open for discussion depending on what kind of support you were looking for. This is a plug and play opportunity that you can run with. So this is a freemium subscription model. However, because of where we've now started to channel our focus in terms of functional ingredients, that opens up more revenue streams for the future. You could look at data and licensing modeling. You could also look at QSR restaurant partnerships and health and wellness API integrations. Now, the reason that I'm suggesting it's very important to start focusing in the functional ingredient area is because that is where the trends are going. You look at gut health, clarity in terms of mental focus, right? Improved sleep. These are things like wearables are tracking, right? And they need action against them. And with whole foods, as it pertains to ingredient stacking or food mixology, you can attain that. And you can attain different level tiers of those options within meals that are generated through our API. So essentially what you'd be creating in the background is a data mode, simply linking ingredient to outcome, again, across those different tiers. And that is where your value lies, because it really opens up the doors for reaching a consumer, both in-home and out of home. So today, as it pertains to the app, it targets meals in under 45 minutes, quick meals, easy dinners. But we also know that there's occasions that happen outside of the home, occasions for lunch as well as snacking. And being able to have that data that you'd be building, like I mentioned earlier, you'd be able to open up QSR partnerships, integrate other wearables, and also license the data because you would have the moat in your background. So maybe you're someone that already has a movement platform, something fitness related, and you're looking to bolt onto that with a meal planner, something nutrition based, right? As I mentioned before, this is like taking a chef and a dietitian and then combining them. And it's very powerful what you get in the background. Or you could already have a platform and you're not satisfied with the meal planning capabilities you do have. Again, this is an integrated AI. It's very well vertically stacked and it goes deep in the nutrition component. And it's fantastic, as you saw in the demo. Or possibly you're someone that just likes to tinker. You're like, hey, I want to buy something and maybe buy a vision and see how far you can take it. Either way, I mean, those are three awesome options for somebody that would be looking to pick up Tinga and run with it.